Alright, our third video is volume of cones. So the formula for the volume of cones is actually the same as it is for the formula for pyramids. It's just base times height divided by 3. But the difference is we have a different shaped base in a cone. In the pyramids, the shape of the base was either rectangular or square or sometimes triangular. And in this case, our base is a circle. So we have to remember how to calculate the base of a circle. And a quick reminder is it is pi r squared. So if you have one of these calculators, you actually have a pi button on it. And you can just push that. And then a quick reminder about what radius is. The R stands for radius. It is the length from the middle of a circle to the edge of the circle. So it's only halfway across. The entire distance across is called a diameter, and we don't want that. We only want half. So anytime it gives you a diameter, you're going to have to cut it in half and use that number for your radius and then square it. So you can either know that that's what I mean for base, or you can just write the actual formula we're going to be looking at is pi r squared and then times height and then divided by 3. And again, we divide by 3 because it goes to a point, just like a pyramid did. Otherwise, if we left it going up straight and didn't divide by 3, it would be a cylinder. So they've actually drawn a cylinder, or I've given you a picture of a cylinder over here. If you take it to a point like a cone does and dump it into a cylinder, it would only fill 1/3 of the way, which is why we divide by 3. Okay, let's try some of these examples. So example 1. So I'm going to start by writing my formula, pi r squared height divided by 3. And these all are squished together, which means we're going to multiply. So we are going to push the pi button on my calculator. Instead of r, we are going to put what the radius is, which the radius is 2. So we're going to do times 2 squared times the height. And the height in this cone is 8. And then we're going to take that answer and divide the whole thing by 3. Okay, so if you're putting this in your calculator, you are just going to press the pi button, which is just right up here, and then times 2 squared times 8, and then divided by 3, and you get 33 point, it says round to the nearest tenth, so 33.5. So we've got 33.5 inches, and this one is cubed because it is volume, so it's three-dimensional, so, and that's all there is to it. Alright, on example 2, it's exactly what I was mentioning earlier. It's giving you the diameter, and we only want the radius, so we only want from here to here. So you're going to have to half it. So you're going to have to take 8 and cut it in half, which would be 4, and then we can use the formula. So half radius, or sorry, pi radius squared times height divided by 3. So we're going to use the pi button. Our radius is 4 squared times the height, which in this case is 9. And then the whole thing divided by 3. Alright, so again, fancy pi button times 4 squared times 9 divided by 3. And we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so this one would be 150 point, round that 7 up to an 8. And that is feet cubed. Alright, let's look at example 3. For her geography project, Karen built a clay model of a volcano in the shape of a cone. Okay, I'm just going to draw that out real quick. Okay, her model has a diameter, so that's the whole distance across of 12. So the whole thing is 12. We're going to have to keep that in mind. And a height of 8. So the entire height is 8. Okay, find the volume. Again, simple formula. Pi r squared height divided by 3, but we need the radius, not the diameter. So cut 12 in half and make sure you're using 6. So we're going to push the pi button, and then we're going to use 6 squared, and then the height is 8 divided by 3. So fancy pi button times 6 squared times 8 divided by 3. And we are rounding to the nearest tenth, so 301.59 will bump up to 6, so 301.6, 301.6, and that is inches cubed. Now, I noticed that it says use 3.14 for pi, and if you're doing that, if your calculator doesn't have a pi button, if you're using 3.14, your rounding might be slightly different than mine, but that's okay, because they'll be close enough that I'm not worried about it. Depends on what you're using. I try to always use the pi button because it's a lot more accurate, because it actually takes the whole pi formula, but if you're using 3.14, you're going to get very close to the same answer I got. Okay, last one. Example 4. Gretchen made a paper cone to hold a gift for her friend. So again, I'm going to draw this out. All right, the cone was 15 inches high, so that'd be the height, and had a radius of 3 inches. Good, they gave us the radius because that's all we need. Find the volume to the nearest tenth. All right, pi r squared height divided by 3. So it's going to be pi, our radius is 3 squared, our height is 15, and the whole thing's going to get divided by 3. So just pushing buttons in the calculator is all this is. Pi times 3 squared times 15 equals divided by 3, and we're rounding to the nearest tenth, so 141 point, that 3 is going to bump up to a 4, so 141.4. And that is cubic inches. Okay, and that's all there is to that. So your practice is doing the back side of this worksheet.